Hi besties, hi bunnies. Coffee's cold, truce brewing. Let's hit the road. Just Machado wheel in hand, time to unfold. Early light breaks, coffee chilling in my grip. Hi besties, hi bunnies, join the trip. Cruising mass highway, spilling secrets for hours. 1 to 3 deep, no holds barred, owning our power. Squad's got my back, riding waves through the storm. Besties and bunnies, keeping it warm. Got that wild spark, singing random and free. Keeping the vibe alive, just you and me. Trolls creeping in, haters twisting the feet. Weak shots flying, but they can't plant the seed. Jabbing in my style, my fire, my rise. Obsessed in the shadows, watching with jealous eyes. Drama stirrers calling grift, but facts don't lie. While y'all fume, my lights touching the sky. Reddit ghosts lurking, basement critique so low. Keep throwing shade, watch this bunny glow. Meow, 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 meow. Hey. Meow, 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 feel it now. Bunny, just Machado show, chasing down the real. Besties and bunnies got that unbreakable seal. Meow, 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 trolls fade away. Truth in the air, lighting up the day. After dark or dawn's first gleam, we claim the throne. Justice rolling, meow, if you're in the zone. Meow, meow. Love to my besties trolls. See a truth awaits. Just Machado show. Buckle up. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Feel it now. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Feel it now. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Feel it now. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Bunnies.
All right, have a great day.
Put my AirPods,
Okay.
my
Oh, I love it.
and I have like cash. You know.
Oh, it looks cute. Bye. Love you. Good morning. Welcome to 24 on 24. I'm your host, Jessica Machado. This is allegedly one of the best shows in all of the land. Listen, we have something that we need to discuss. It's fine. Everything is okay, but we have something we have to share because we share everything. All right, so let's get into it. Last night, my husband and I were sitting in the living room, disconnecting and watching a movie together. My husband chose it. It was Borat. And Jack had gotten home from work. I had picked up Georgia. It was a little late for us to be up, but I don't know, we were up later. I don't really even know. Anyway, Jeff's in his recliner. I'm on the couch. We're watching this movie, and I guess the part we were watching matters, I guess, because the part we were watching was, if you know the movie, when Borat and that older guy that's with him, they were sharing a hotel room, and Borat comes out of the bathroom, and that older man is like kind of like masturbating to pictures of Pamela, and he comes out of the bathtub and he gets upset, and they're fighting around the hotel room naked, throwing each other all over the place. Now, the blurred out version was on our screen, but it doesn't matter. It's like dicks and balls and ass and fat men and skinny men. And it's like just an insane scene. It takes a lot to get me to laugh at something like that because I'm not like into that kind of comedy, but I was laughing. Jeff, because he's a guy, was laughing. And right after he was laughing, he started coughing. And I was watching him, and he wasn't coughing anymore. He was very red in the face, and his eyes were completely wide, like I don't even really know how to explain it. He looked scared. I stood up, I went over to him, I stood right in front of him, and then all of a sudden, I don't really want to get, I don't know, because it's fucking traumatic. His left hand went in some sort of like curled up motion. His right arm went stiff straight down, so it looked like he was having like a seizure. At the time, I thought he was having a stroke. And then he wasn't breathing at all. I was shaking him. I was, I put my hand on the back of his chest, and he was out, like not present. I grabbed my phone. I called 611 in an accident because my hands were shaking, which just so happens to be like T-Mobile's like emergency number. I was shaking so badly. I called 911, and I told the woman what was happening. And as that was happening, I was like screaming like Jeff, and his eyes opened up, but he was like looking at me and he could not hear me. And so I told the woman what had happened. I said, nope, he's awake, but he's looking at me funny. He was smiling, which was like obviously disproportionate to what had happened. So she told me for me to leave him for a minute and to go open the front door. Shout out to Mima, who did not hear me screaming her name. Shout out to Jack, who did not hear me screaming his name. So I had no choice but to, and I didn't understand why she was telling me to leave him for a second and go open the front door, because it seemed to me like I just called, like I was just on the phone, and like she was telling me to leave him and go open the door. So I ran around to the front of the house. I went to my mother's side. I opened the door and I was like, Mom, something's wrong with Jeff. 911, they're on their way. But as I went into her side of the house, I saw the cop out in front of my house already. Like it was 60, I guess, small town Somerset. We live right near the police station. I guess it is true. I mean, it could have taken him 30 seconds to get there. That's how fast they were there. I barely had time to open the door, and he was there, and he ran in. And Jeff was kind of coming out of it. And then within a couple of seconds, the EMS guys got there. Cop came in with a defibrillator. We didn't use that. And they determined that, I don't know the exact name of what it is. And honestly, it took me a few minutes to even recognize that this had happened before. But like, there's a thing, basal something. Does that make sense? I don't know what it is, but like, they said sometimes when elderly people go to the bathroom, they bear down too hard and they can like cause this spasm type thing, and then they lose consciousness. And Jeff was laughing too hard and he passed out. And I couldn't really believe it. They did an EKG right there. They have like a portable one. They took all of his vitals and he was completely fine. And That's it. He's fine. He had a really bad headache. They asked for him to not take any Tylenol and let the headache just exist so that he could monitor whether or not it got worse or better. And if it did get worse, he needed to, call them and they transport him to the hospital. I'm going to just be honest with you. It was one of the scariest things I thought my husband was having a heart attack. 100%. You probably have figured me out well enough to know I'm pretty dramatic. I literally thought at 1 second my husband's dying. I got very fucked up in the head over it. I don't know. I thought he would. How do you know when that happens? Like my husband's a big guy. You know what I mean? His hand is all curled up. His other hand is completely straight. And then I was like, what are the signs of a stroke? Is he having a stroke? I don't know. He was laughing 1 minute and then he was out cold the next. I had no idea. It was his eyes. The way his eyes were he was so scared. Like he said he didn't feel scared. He doesn't really remember anything at all. He just remembers laughing, coughing, and that's it. But he looked like, so, I don't know. I just thought my husband was having a heart attack. That's it. So I don't know what would have happened if I hadn't even been in the room. I mean, what would have happened if I wasn't shaking? I mean, I'm sure he would have just come out of it. Would he have known? I don't know. I have no idea. I've never experienced that before. It did happen years and years and years ago, but many, many years ago, my husband was driving home and took a drag of a cigarette, and the next thing I knew, he was like hitting the curb. He hadn't been drinking at night, and I was like, Jeff, and he apparently was passed out like for 15 seconds. I didn't know, he didn't know. That I attributed to him smoking, you know what I mean? Like, but I guess we should revisit that, but he was just at home. They made me like feel like there was no problem. There was no issue. It happens. It happens to some people, and he was completely fine. They didn't, recommend that he needed to go in to get checked out. So Jeff said he was all set, and they left, and that's it. I mean, we were pretty shaken up by it, but he's fine. He's totally fine. But in the moment, it was fucking scary, and you're just thinking the worst right away. And I never just think the least. I think the worst. We're planning a funeral right then and there in the living room with Borat on in the background. So fuck Borat. That's, we haven't talked yet today. I am sure we will make some sort of a joke. He'll turn 50. It's got to be Borat themed, obviously. I don't know. It was scary. It was fucked with my head, and that's it. So just sharing that. I had a very sleepless night because I was just basically checking his pulse every 15 minutes in bed and making sure he was breathing, and that's it. Why is that lady waving at me? Like, anyway. He has his annual coming up. Let me see, July. So I'm sure he'll mention it then, but there's no chance he's going to the doctor anytime before that. I can tell you that right now. Anyway, I'm a little out of it this morning. I'm super tired. I got no sleep. I felt like saying, can you hook that EKG up to me? Because I was so upset, and so my heart was racing. I don't even want to know what I sounded like on the 911 call. I know the lady was telling me to just breathe and calm down. I needed to calm down because I wasn't giving her proper information. I don't know. Beats me. Let's go to society and get a coffee. Maybe it's because I didn't go to society yesterday and I changed my fucking algorithm and we just need to go back to the way things were. Good morning. You can go. You got it. We're going to talk in a minute. We got other things to discuss. Change is whack. Hi, Derek. How are you?
Okay.
I'm so glad you're here. Yes. Can I have? Yes. I would like a coffee today, please. Thank you. I don't know if you could hear him, but I said, I'm so glad you're here. And he's like, I'm not. um, okay. So that's that. I made an agenda. It's here. The second thing on the agenda is Somerset Republican Town Committee. I'm going to skip that and come back to it. I'm not in the mood for that one yet. MO is the next one. That's Meredith O'Neill. Last night I did an impromptu spaces. If you were on it and you caught it, great. I kind of, it's so funny. I always record spaces. It's just the way that I've always done it because a lot of it started with the 24 and 24s and that's where they originated, was on spaces. So by default, I've always recorded them. And I don't know where I read it, but I noticed that all of the spaces that like all of the KMS guys do, they all delete them afterwards. And somebody made a case for it and was just like, hey, you're either in it and it's in the moment or you don't get to hear it. And I don't know why, but that kind of resonated with me. It was like, why should I give like haters that option to go back? You know what I mean? I don't know. So it was up last night, but I deleted it right afterwards. I actually inadvertently deleted the whole post. I don't know. I guess like all I have to do is just not hit record space and then it just shows the details and the comments, but you can't hear it. I just deleted the whole like actual post on X. So that was my bad. I won't do that again. I don't know if all the comments stayed or left, but I know better for next time. So the reason I did it was somebody sent me a screenshot of a post from Meredith, or a couple of posts from Meredith, who, is on the warpath again, just will never move on from anything in life. Unfortunately for everybody here, this woman has entered the arena and she's just never going to go away. And her toxicity is just going to remain forever and ever and ever, forever, ever, forever, ever. It's just never going away. Her behaviors and the way that she is existed long before Aiden Carney. Okay. That is 100% certain. And that's it. And so she's just going to be here and we're going to have to deal with like crazy toxic fucking shit. It is never going to be balanced with good things or kindness. It doesn't matter if she throws in these fluff posts every once in a while about like, my life is great. It doesn't matter. It doesn't feel authentic. It's not authentic. It's fake. She is crazy. That's it. She's fucking crazy. And we are dealing with a crazy person in our lives, unfortunately. And I think it's just going to go on forever. I see no end to this whatsoever. Give me 1 second. I just want to, I have no idea which one of my debit cards has all my money on it. So let me just look. This one, is it this one or is it this one? Oh, it's this one. Perfect. Okay. So remember when I used to lock and unlock my cards because I was fucking broke? All right. So She's just going to be around, and that's it. And we're just going to have to fucking deal with it. So somebody sent me a screenshot of a post. So Meredith, in her spare time, has now gone and found my husband's court documents with his ex-wife about their divorce. And hold on, the window's open, so I don't want to talk. Give me a second. So she gets all of the court documents. Hi. A couple days before the wedding. Where did you see it? On my stuff? Yeah.
I didn't want to leave it. It looks better, I think.
I agree.
I think it looks better.
It does look better.
It's different. Like, I think it looks weird because I've never seen him with short hair.
I know. Dude, he hasn't had hair that short since he was like 3. Maybe 2.5.
Why'd he cut it?
Because he wanted Julia to have nice pictures for the wedding without his long hair. He actually likes it better. Like, he's like, yeah, I really like it. But it's weird because he'll walk by in the house and it's like, I don't even feel like it's him. I think it looks great.
Is today a straw day?
Today's a straw. The chat says it's a straw day.
All right.
Yesterday I came up with this whole theory I wasn't going to do society anymore. I didn't come yesterday. I had a protein shake at home. But we're back on our business today. Goodbye. Have a great day. See you tomorrow. All right. So she puts up this post. She uploads all the available court documents, renames them, all of these things like Jeff Stees does this, he gets shot down, go Kayla, all these fucking world quirky things. It's actually kind of funny. I'll give her that. It's kind of funny. But she puts it up and she's like interpreting them all in like her way or whatever. And I don't need to go on a space or a post or even a live and like say Meredith O'Neill called me fat today, right? Or even like say, Jim said I was a bad mom or, whatever today. Like, I would never feel provoked to counterpoint that in any way. However, there were some statements that she made that are completely just not true. And one of them had to do with my husband's old house. And I talked about it yesterday, not only because of like, I wanted to counterpoint them, but it was a fucked up situation. And I would have told it anyway. I'm sure eventually we would have got to it in any one of the thousands of shows I do. But it was a really fucked up situation. I try not to, believe me, by nature, I want to talk about all of the things related to like my husband's life, his family, and all of those things. But if you can't tell, I really don't. I just don't. I believe it's my husband's story to tell. My husband has talked about wanting to talk about it. Jeff has gotten better at like expressing his feelings and emotions on things. And, my husband is fucking pissed off about a lot of shit. But I've always maintained like, it's for him to talk about. When he wants to talk about it, we'll talk about it, But some of these things are kind of like a big deal, but I will give you the brief version of it if you didn't catch the space last night, which I know a lot of you didn't. Back when before my husband and I were married, Jason and I lived together in a home that belonged to his family, and then it got passed down to Jason and I. And when Jason and I separated, we had the option, the only option we had was for me to buy the house. And Jason would not sell his half of the house to me. He would not do it. And we didn't owe a lot of money on the house, because we had a very short mortgage on it, because we got it for nothing and we just took out some equity to, like, you know, upgrade it and stuff. We didn't owe a lot, but I was going to give him his share of it. But he did not want me living in that house because it was his family home. He anticipated I would eventually get married, maybe have more kids, and he didn't want it to be in his family home. I think that's stupid. I would have taken the money and run, but he didn't. It was the worst financial decision he ever made. It would have changed his life. But he chose not to do it and refused to sign off. There was nothing I could do at that point. Nothing. I even, I offered to deed it to Jack and Georgia so that it eventually would go to them, like put something in place like that it would go to them if something ever happened to me or back to him. He just was like, over my fucking dead body, you're going to live in my parents' house without me. Okay, well then the house is getting foreclosed because I'm leaving. So I left him with nothing. Ron intervened. Ron thought it was absolutely crazy, and Ron tried to talk to him and say, it's stupid. Take the money, let the kids stay in the house. And Jason was like, it's not happening. So I moved. Jeff was married and had a house in Swansea with his wife and his son. And he slowly, over a couple of years, became estranged from his family. Now, it's not the first time, but when he got married, his wife did not like his mother, and they got into I'm not getting into it, but there's some real serious shit that fucking happened that ultimately ended up where Jeff was estranged from his whole family. And I guess one night Kayla and Jeff got into a really bad argument, and I think according to Jeff, he was feeling like the marriage was just not going to work out. So he reached out to his uncle and his cousin, and they hadn't talked to him in 2 years. And so they were like, let's go grab a drink. Let's meet. So Jeff left the house, or I guess it was texting them. He left the house in the argument and ended up going to see his family for the first time in 2 years. She followed him, saw that he was with the family. And when Jeff came home several hours later, she was gone. She took everything from the house, and she actually never lived in that house again. She basically, that was her thing. Like, that's it. It's over. So Jeff was left in the house. If I'm correct, if I remember correctly, they paid the bills for a couple of months, but I talked about this on a show. She made accusations that Jeff was doing cocaine, that Jeff was abusive to Alex, all these things. Had to hire attorneys, guardian ad litems, follicle drug testing, all of those things he passed. Guardian ad litem wrote a wonderful report about Jeff. And when they eventually got to court, which was months later, he got determined suitability. There was no issues. He was given limited parenting time based on their schedules, but there was no issues with it. So anyway, to make a long story short, they got divorced. In the divorce agreement, all the marital assets have to be discussed. At the time when the divorce agreement was written and approved in front of a judge, the property that Jeff and Kayla owned was under agreement. Somebody was buying it. So it's literally written in the divorce. The property is under both parties agree to sell the property. The property is under agreement. Any costs incurred will be split between the two, blah, 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 blah. Well, the divorce gets finalized and the fucking person backs out of the fucking house. The house is now not sold. So the house stays on the market for as long as they have a contract with the real estate agent, who happens to be one of my friends. I didn't obviously know any Kayla or Jeff at the time, but I had since spoken to him about what was going on, and he said they had a remaining couple of months on their contract. The house never sold. They chose not to renew with him, and then the house was literally just abandoned. Nobody lived in it. Nobody was paying the mortgage. Nobody had paid the mortgage for years. It was empty, and it was not being paid. Fast forward to several years later, my husband and I get married. And I'm like, we need to make a determination on what we're going to do about, we were living, by the way, in an apartment. Jeff's uncle owned a really nice 3-family, and we lived in that. We needed to make a decision about what we were going to do. Where are we going to live? What's the plan? Are we going to rent a house? What are we going to do here? And are we ever going to be able to buy a house? Because I had a foreclosure. So Jeff and I started calling Bank of America, and we were like, what are our options with this fucking house? At this point, it had been like 3.5 years. They owe tens of thousands of dollars on the property. In back mortgage payments. It was in a state of foreclosure. Something I completely forgot last night, which I ended up talking to Jeff about, which we believe maybe added to this, is Kayla worked for Bank of America at the time. And the mortgage was, she got the mortgage when she was an employee. Now, I don't know if because she was an employee at the time that prevented them from like moving forward with foreclosures, but many houses that were purchased in the 2007, 2008, 9, 10, like that big whole thing that happened, a lot of those homes went into foreclosure but never got moved into foreclosure. Like nobody ever sold the houses. Like, so maybe it was one of those two factors, but the property just basically sat vacant. I went to the home one day, like I dropped the kids off at school. I went there and I looked at the house and I was like, I mean, it's not my cup of tea, but like we could live here. You know what I mean? Like, let's figure this out. So we talked to Bank of America. Bank of America ran Jeff's numbers and my numbers, and they were like, they would offer us a refinance, take all of the money that they owed and kind of build it into the mortgage. The mortgage payment was affordable to us. And we got the commitment from them that we would refinance. The technicality is Kayla would have to sign over her portion of the home to Jeff. Normally, that shouldn't be an issue, right? Because there's like no equity in the property, they're behind. However, it is a risk that she could sign over her portion of it, and Jeff, instead of living in it, would just fucking sell the house and try to make money off of it. But they were so far behind on their mortgage, they were upside down on it. So even if they sold it, they were going to lose money. So there was no like opportunity here. It's not like they owed $100,000. She was going to deed over her part and Jeff was going to sell it and make $200,000. It's not the case. They were upside down on the mortgage. So it was really, Jeff was assuming all of the debt and removing her from the deed. It was no real risk to her. But when we talked to Bank of America, they said that Jeff needed to actually be living in the property to qualify for a refinance. The house had been abandoned. So with the commitment from her that she was going to sign it over, we were pretty confident that we were going to get the mortgage. We made the decision to move the family into the house. Now, we moved in. Nobody was paying the mortgage. We just moved into the fucking house. They sent somebody out there to see that we were living there twice on 2 different occasions. They had somebody drive by. One guy knocked on our door and was like, I'm from the bank. And I was like, okay, come on in and show that we were living there. And we started the process of getting Kayla to do this. Now, all of that had to go through her attorney. So we were sending emails or whatever, but we were fine living in the house, cleaning it, getting it ready, and also living there rent free because we weren't paying any fucking rent. So it was a win-win for everybody. It was a win-win-win-win-win for everybody. Okay. No foreclosures for her, no foreclosures for Jeff. We're in a house. We get a mortgage. Everything is fine. While this is all happening, we're living there. We're not paying rent. I think we were there for 3 months, and Jeff and I started having a discussion about changing his parenting schedule because the original schedule of parenting time was based on when the child was an infant and in preschool, where it didn't matter. But based on the parenting schedule that existed, we wouldn't be able to adhere to it because it conflicted with school time because child was going into kindergarten. So, yeah, kindergarten. So we needed to streamline the parenting schedule. Like, I didn't think, and neither did Jeff, that his son should be bouncing around during the week, like on a Monday, on a Wednesday, on a Friday. Like, we were like, this isn't good for kids. Like, and I was saying it myself because I've already done it. I said, there should be some streamlined option here. Like, he goes to dad's, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night. You know what I mean? Like, and then with mom all the rest of the days, just for consistency. But also there were a bunch of other things that my husband didn't have. He had like 3 hours or 4 hours with his son over Christmas, which is fucking nuts. We had no vacation school. So every time school vacations were going to come up, the ex-wife would have all of those vacations, which is crazy. Like, split them with my husband. So we could go on one vacation, have another vacation in the summer so we could go down the Cape. Like, my husband had nothing. The only thing he had was Father's Day, and it wasn't even a fucking overnight. It was from like noon to like 8 or something. It was like not a full experience for Father's Day. So I put a bunch of things together, and I was like, I think, like, based on like all of this stuff, you really would be able to get all of these things and it would be more equitable. So we hired an attorney that Jeff's parents paid for. I found the attorney Jeff's parents paid for. And we went and filed in court. Right after we filed, she went radio silent on the property. Now, I definitely 100% underestimated that would piss her off. I don't think we ever thought it would be like a retaliation scenario. I just don't. I look back on that all the time. If we had known, we could have simply just waited until the house deal was done and then had done it. We could have suffered through a couple months of a bad schedule and then gone and done it. Like, we really just didn't think it would be an issue. We were trying to do everything all at once. We were trying to move. We were trying to get schedules. Like, we're just trying to do fucking normal shit. She would no longer coordinate with the house. That deal was off the table. Her attorney would not even speak to us about it. Furthermore, anytime we tried to talk about it, it turned into a bigger problem. Eventually, we get to court and we're going over the new schedule and all of the things that we're asking for. And sure enough, when my husband is asking for parenting time, her attorney stands up in court and he said, currently the father doesn't even have stable housing. He's a squatter in a property. The house is in foreclosure. We don't recommend giving any additional parenting time to the father. Blah, blah, blah. Our attorney was like, listen, there was a deal being worked out here. This is not what's really happening. Stable housing was never an issue. We could have just gone back to the apartment we were in, or we could have found another rental or whatever. But they were using it as a pawn in the child's visitation situation. So the judge thankfully saw right through it and was like, your child is not a piece of property. He said this directly to her. And ultimately awarded my husband every single solitary thing that we had asked for. every piece of parenting time that we asked for was given to my husband. Not one thing was denied. I believe there were 12 or 13 provisions in that order, and my husband got all of them. We had a wonderful lawyer who was fantastic. We had a wonderful judge who saw exactly what was going on, and it was a very successful court date. But we lost the house over it. And for us, that's why we were basically like, oh, well, we got equal parenting time, or as close to it as we could. But it really caused a major problem with the ex that we never actually overcome. So for people who say, you know, what happened and why doesn't, like, you know, we had to fight for all of that time, and she would not give it. And she fought against it every chance she could, with attorneys, with, you know, things like the house, and fought and fought and fought and tried to stop it, and ultimately lost. And she was bitter and angry and upset about that. And that's it. That is the crux of everything. And that ended up being the problem that we deal with still till today. So, you know, statements made by Meredith that, you know, we were causing my husband's ex-wife to pay for us. Was none of that. It was my husband's home. We were trying to get the property. And I don't like telling that story, but I'm very happy to tell that story because it's fucked up what people will do. It's fucked up how people are. And there were a bunch of other statements being made about, like, my husband being estranged from his mother. Like, my husband has had a terrible relationship with his mother from the earliest of days, long before Jessica Machado was ever a woman in his life. Long before I ever hit the scene, there was problems with my husband and his mother. And there's been several attempts at therapy to try to work through those, by the way, that I encouraged, and it just never went anywhere. At some point, people just decide it's not worth the toxic shit on the everyday to day. And there is a piece that is in our home not dealing with that. I talked about this story a little bit. I'm not going to get into all of that, but I don't know what you want me to say. There's baby mamas can be terrible, and mothers of only children boys who are Portuguese can also be terrible. And that's it. I think it would probably be beneficial to a lot of people to hear my husband talk about these things, because I talk about it in a certain way. My husband talks about it in a very different way. It's a very different situation when you hear my husband talk about these women and what they did to him, okay? I'm sitting here saying, well, you know, there's the way this happens. No, my husband is like, fuck these people. It's very black and white to him. You fuck him over and he didn't do anything to you, you're dead to him. That's it. He doesn't need to work through his feelings on it. It's like very clear to him. It was never even up for discussion. And the last time that my husband was near his mother was at Cinema Lord's funeral. And she came right over to him. It was the first time we had seen her since my husband had been estranged from his son. And she helped his ex-wife further estrange the two of them. She helped her. And she attempted to talk to my husband and leverage Cinema Lord's death to say, you never know, these people lost their son overnight. Here we are in the same room, and blah, like a scumbag. And my husband was like, get the fuck off of me. Get the fuck away from me. like was never going to, that's not, and I was like, let's just keep the peace. Jeff was like a fucking savage. As I get older and I learn about people more, and I understand behaviors, human behaviors, I recognize that my husband is, while has flaws, is a very normal American male. Everything my husband does is very normal. It's very average. It's not extraordinary, but it's not bad. It's not over the top success, but he's not a loser deadbeat. My husband wakes up every day and goes to work and enjoys going to work. He doesn't like missing work. My husband wants to have sex with his wife as often as he can. My husband will hang out with these kids when they're little, teenagers, and adults. My husband will cut his lawn, okay? My husband just wants to live a regular, average life with no fucking problems. And the way that people in his life have made him out to be some sort of a crazy villain at times is just so fucking sad. It's sad. Yeah, my husband is edge. He's angry sometimes. I talk about that openly too. I'd be angry too if I can't see my kid. My husband is like walking through life the best that he can. You know what I mean? He's bitter. He's angry. I consider it my job to keep him fucking happy. Let's try to like go out every Saturday. Let's go out to dinner. Let's go to the casino. Let's go. Yes, you can fucking sit in the pool in the summer and watch the Yankees and smoke. Like, I'm not going to give you a hard time, dude. You know, people who aren't in relationships or aren't in marriages are pretty wild criticizing relationships and marriages. I have a successful marriage at this point. We've been together for 14 years. We've been married for 13 years. It's been tough, but we're still married. You know, we made it through, especially a very fucking difficult patch of time recently, a couple years ago. We made it through. Okay. Like, it's not perfect, but people just are fucking weird, man. Like Meredith posting shit about my husband and me when we were together and what we're doing when you're living in an apartment and you're not even married. Go get fucking mad. Find somebody to fucking put a ring on your finger. Like, will you ever find anybody who wants to fucking marry you? Who wants to profess their love to you for the rest of their days? Meredith, are you ever going to find some man? Or is he ever going to find you? And walk into a store and say, that is the ring that I want to put on her finger. And is he ever going to come up with the way to surprise you with it? Is he ever going to slide it on your finger? Is he ever going to stand in front of a justice of the peace or somebody at City Hall or a priest? Is he ever going to fucking profess his love to you? Are you ever in the rest of your days going to know the comfort of knowing that no matter what happens, there is a man at home waiting for you that is going to fucking help you get through whatever comes your way? While you're out there uploading and searching for my fucking court documents relating to my husband and I, are you actively searching for a man to have a healthy partnership and relationship with? Or are you going to pivot from it and say you're okay, you want to be alone? That's a lie. Fucking lie. like 40. The clock is ticking. You've got a buffer of about 4 years that you're going to need to stop acting crazy now and give yourself 4 years of acting normal to distance yourself from every single fucking crazy piece of shit that you've done over the past 3 years in the hopes of finding somebody that will fucking take you on. Good luck. Shut up. People don't need to be married. Listen, this is not, I'm not, I don't, listen, let's go over something right now. This is an opinion show. This is a show where I sit on my phone or my laptop and I give you my opinion and tell you what I think about things. Your expectation should be of nothing more than me giving my opinion. Do you understand that? This is my opinion. This is my show and I give opinions here. I don't give facts. I don't try to influence. I like to tell people what I think. Okay? No, your opinion, listen here. You can have your opinion. That's fine. But understand this is my opinion here. You can do what you want. Most people are here because they agree with me on things, and that makes for like a copacetic flow of show. But like, I don't need to be like, it's just not the show for you if you disagree with me. Oh, you can't say, no, I really don't. Like, there's enough of places in the world and the internet where we have conflicts and people disagree. Not here, not in my space, not what I cultivated. I like to surround myself with people that think the same way as me. I think they listen for the most part because they think the same way as me. Either way, you can stay here, but if I look at the chat and it starts getting like weird, I will block you. I don't want to deal with it. I have every right to, you know what I encourage lately? Start your own YouTube channel and just go on there, and if it makes you feel better, play what I'm saying now and counterpoint it. There'll probably be 10 or 12 people that will listen to that. Go start your own channel. It's free. That's another thing. Do you guys know it's free? You can start your own YouTube channel for free. And you can do exactly what I do for free. You may, if you do it long enough, get monetized and get paid for it. Don't take any of it, what I'm saying personally, Rena. Rena, it was about Meredith because she's being weird to me. So it's very obvious my statements were all in relation to Meredith. Oh, exactly. Paris saying we have a flow here, people. We have a flow here. You're fucking with it. It's my fault. I saw one fucking comment. People need to chill the fuck out. Please let me give my opinion uninterrupted for 4 hours every day. Please. I really just like giving my opinion on things for 4 hours. I also like to change my opinion like the next day or like a month later. I like to contradict myself. Another thing that came up last night is we are changing our names. We are no longer bunnies. We are something else. We are evil. Basically, this whole thing that happened last night, if you didn't hear it, I know Spicy Misty was on. Here's where my take is. Somebody's like, well, if you're an influencer, I don't know. I don't want to be an influencer. Actually, I don't want to be an influencer. Okay. I don't want to be somebody said a role model. I don't want to be a role model. I don't want to be any of those things. It's the opposite. This is the blueprint on what not to do. Okay. you don't want to live your life the way I live, because how I live my life is wrong. It's stressful. It's coming from a fucking bad place, and we're trying to work ourselves out of a hole. I don't want you to be working your way out of a hole or a deficit, whether it's financially or emotionally or in relationships or with your kids. No. So basically what I need to do now is I have to like come up with some sort of like disclaimer that every time I speak, you have to understand I am a bad person. I'm not a good person. I'm terrible with money. I'm not a good friend. I don't understand things. I'm stupid. I have no college education. I don't have a big savings account. I have a savings account now, but I don't have a big savings account. My car gets repoed. I need you to just basically fully embrace that I am just the worst of the worst. Well, I mean, we're not the worst of the worst. We don't hit our kids. We don't have a messy house. Like the basics. But overall, wait, Bunzilla or Bun Diesel? Bunzilla. Wait, Bunzilla. So we're going to be voting on the name for us for tonight. But like, I guess the thing is, everybody, stop putting me on a pedestal, haters. Stop putting me so high. I'm not good. You don't have to say all the time you're not. I say I'm great. That's another thing that's bad about me. I have an inflated self-worth. I'm too conceited. I'm just not good. Okay? However, the only thing I am good at is parenting. And the reason you can tell that now is because I have a 17, 20, and 25-year-old who are all doing great. They are all exactly where I have put them. Each of them is doing exactly what I wanted them to do so that they will have better lives and never be like me. At least when it comes to all of the societal things. You know what I mean? As far as humans go, they are like me. They have soft hearts. They advocate for themselves. They're tough bitches. They're kind. All of those things. They just don't go on the internet and talk for a living, which I don't want that for them either. But we've determined what they like to do in life. We found corresponding jobs that they should be doing, and we're helping get them there through education and good credit and being supportive. And I also mentioned this last night, and it's kind of funny how it like organically came up through that, but like it is probably an undertone of like how I live. I'm very bitter about like the abuse that I suffered as a child and as a teenager. But aside from the abusive part of it, there were a lot of other things that were absent that didn't set me up for success. I didn't have a parent around to ask advice to. I didn't have that sense of security that if something went wrong, I could pick up the phone and call. Georgia and I were talking about this yesterday afternoon. It's probably why it kind of came through last night. But, Georgia, so there's a truck that we're going to go look at today for Georgia. And she was like, if we buy a used car, what if something goes wrong? And I said, well, if something goes wrong, you have 3 people that you could call automatically for help. You have Jeff, you have your dad, and you have Jack, right? All 3 of those people. Then you have me, then you have Angelo, then you have Julie and Aiden. You have a support system of people that if something goes wrong with your car while you're driving or whatever, you could call any one of those people. You also have someone who could help fix your car if something goes wrong. We would figure it out. Shout out to the day when Jack's car broke and I was like, I'll charge it. Now we don't have to charge it. But even so, we could figure it out. I didn't have that. I didn't have anybody. My mother was non-existent. After my parents got divorced, I didn't have any of that help, and I was really alone, and it caused a lot of anxiety because when shit would happen, I was by myself, and I didn't have anybody that I could call. My grandfather had been dead for years. Bazillion was nowhere to be found. My mother was at the fucking bar. It's just like I've created an environment where if something goes wrong, Julia knows that she can call me. She has done that. Jack knows we're here for him. So it's that like kind of family that I also have given my children. I've also understand that they need to stay at home while they're in school. They don't need to leave. So we have to make sure the environment in my house is one where they want to be. Not like where I was with my mom, where there was a lot of yelling and screaming and hitting, and it was bad and you didn't want to be there. And so an apartment, you know, at 19 years old sounded like a great idea because you just wanted to get the fuck out of there. You know what I mean? So I have to create an environment in my house that is one where my kids are like, hey, I'm home, but it's cool. I like it here. I cook dinner every day for them. I get them like what they need. I take care of them. And for anybody who ever questioned me and thought that it might be too much, my daughter's in fucking Italy right now. And that wasn't paid for by mom or dad or anyone. It was paid by her. And she's fully self-sufficient and has a job. And I wasn't that bad of a helicopter parent. They are very independent. They love their independence. But they also love home. So, yes, I suck. Yes, my credit is terrible. Yes, I fucking don't have money. Yes, my repo, all of the shit. It's probably worse than we've ever discussed. Who knows? I'm sure if you dig far enough, you'll fucking evoke something I've forgotten about, although I think everything's out there. But, like, who knows? It's just, I'm terrible. But my kids aren't. And I would never let them be. Ever. And I don't care what anybody says. That's very rewarding for me. And I also mentioned this last night in 1950, everything I am would have been not only acceptable, it would have been the norm. It's not my fault that society and this government has changed the expectations for a woman or a mother or a wife. But pick me up and plop me down in 1955 and I'm perfect. No job, no car, sits at home and cooks all day and takes care of the kids. That's it. That's what I want to be. That's all I've ever wanted to be. Everything else in between is just to get by or because I needed it or whatever. When all I ever wanted to be was a housewife and a stay-at-home mother, which back 50 years, 70 years would have been exactly what everybody else was doing. This shame that people attach to me that I'm a fucking loser because I don't have an education or I don't have a job or a career. No fucking shit. I was born to be a mother. I was born to be a wife. I was born to bake fucking bread and to bake shit and have a KitchenAid mixer. I was literally put on this earth for that. Everything else is just extra. When I act unbothered, trust it is because I am unbothered. Because the only goal I've ever had in life, I fucking kill it. It's great. My kids are wonderful and happy. And they love their mama a lot. Despite anybody's fucking best efforts. And that's another reason why I think these fucking haters hate me. That's why Meredith fucking hates me and shit like that. Because she fucking knows. She knows exactly where I am in this life. She knows that the only thing I care about is the success of my kids. She knows that all I care about is Sweetles and Georgie and Julia and my owl babies. That's it. She knows. So you can't I'm untouchable when it comes to that. Because what? This show's going to end. I'm not going to make any money. What do you think I'm going to do? I'm just going to fucking go back and do what I normally do. Be a mom. Hopefully this show ends right around the time I start having grandkids. And then I will just take care of my babies. Babies. I think it's fucked up that I've had 25 years of my life fighting against society, and by the way, against other fucking judgy moms who have made me feel like what I choose to do with my life is subpar. Do you know what I mean? I think that there is a massive group of women who have felt that they just want to be at home with their children and send their men off to work, and they can't do that, and they're forced to fucking go to jobs to pay the bills, to fucking pay the mortgage. And I think it sucks. And I think that it is a real big fucking, it's a problem for this society and this country that we've lost the stay-at-home parent and the stay-at-home mother. And I think that the stay-at-home mother could fix everything. I really do. I think the stay-at-home mother could fix everything. Like everything all of the problems. So through the years, I have had to deal with people and that judgment, and then not only the judgment, but like the actual like articulation of the judgment. You know, we have a guy who's on the school committee in Somerset, and his wife, you know, called me one day and was like, you need to get off your fat ass and get a job. And I was like, who the fuck are you to tell me I need to get a job? I have fucking kids. Why do I have to have a job? I have a job. I don't need a fucking job. Who the fuck are you? Your husband's on the school committee and you're telling me I need a job? Who the fuck are you? Will you encourage Julia to be a stay-at-home mom? Yes. We have had multiple conversations about this. I've talked to Julia about how rewarding it is and how important it is. And I'm not going to speak exactly about what Julia's plans are because that's her plans, but we have discussed things that they can do to get her as close to being a stay-at-home mom as she possibly can be. Correct. And Jack providing so that his wife can stay home when they are married. Verdict is out on Georgia if she will have children, which I accept and understand. She's a different type of girl. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But yes, we have talked about that. The other thing too, by the way, is I did not have my mother to look after my children. So I think I would have been more inclined to work part-time when my kids were little if I had my children in my own home with my mother coming to watch them. But my mother did not. My mother was choosing to work and did not want to retire. And things would have been different. I could have just worked part-time and I would have worked at fucking Target, you know what I mean? For 4 hours a day or whatever. But, and by the way, once your kids are school age, then you can put them on the bus or bring them to school, and then you can go work for 4 hours and then be home, 10 to 2 mother's hours. Mother's hours used to be a thing, by the way, where women would just work when their kids were at school. The comment just passed away, but it's just how I feel. So anyway. So anyway, there's that. Let me get to my agenda. I don't remember what was on it. All right, 911, Meredith. Young Black economist. Good morning to my queen, Young Black economist. I got a really surprising and pleasant voicemail from Young Black economist yesterday. And I did not have that on my bingo card ever. Didn't have that on my bingo card. But Young Black economist and I think, I can't be sure, I think we are bonding over our mutual dislike for Val. So I'm not embarrassed. That's not the right word, but like maybe that would have been the word in this whole thing. I did not understand that like Young Black Economist and Valerie were enemies. I didn't know that. Yesterday at some point I said maybe I need to be paying a little bit more attention than usual. Good morning, Ben Rosa. Maybe, you know what I mean? I'm not sure yet. The verdict is still out if I should be paying a little bit more attention. I don't know. As of right now, probably not. I don't want to get involved in it. But for some reason in the back of my mind, Young Black Economist and Valerie were friendly, but it's actually the opposite. She sent me a message to clear that up. It's very much the opposite. She expressed to me that Valerie has made fake accounts in the likeness of her, of YBE, and then gets on spaces pretending to be her, which Young Black Economist finds to be racist. And there is a real like issue there with her. I did not know that. Val makes fun of her. See, I didn't know that. No offense to anybody. I don't know. And I'm sure all of you would agree. I don't pay as much attention. So listen, I had already been kind of like softening to YBE without this message from her, because I was like, listen, remember I said I'm just going to smother you with love. Like, I'm just going to smother you, Young Black Economist. Like, I'm not racist. So just like not at all. And none of what I say or do is meant to be racist. The avatar was funny and it is not racist. It's not going to be my fucking platform to sit here and convince you that I'm not a racist. I'm tired of fucking trying to do that. If I were racist, don't you think there would be signs? If I were racist, if I was truly racist, do you think there would be signs? Me saying Valerie has a husky voice that sounded like a black woman is not racist. Me making an avatar of Young Black Economist that looks like the avatar people because she does look like them is not racist. There's some fucking racist people out here in this fucking arena, and they show you that all the time. Go fuck with those people. So anyway, I just thought I would share. I had a interaction with her in the inbox. I'm not sure there was any type of bonding really, but I just found it funny. I was surprised at how nice she sounded in the voice memo. She had a very pleasant tone and very nice, and it was not confrontational in any way. It's not what I expected. So she wanted me to know like what Valerie had done to her, because I think yesterday I said like Young Black Economist and Valerie are both like the same, like they're agents of chaos and like what do they contribute or whatever. I challenged Young Black Economist to push out some positivity to balance out the crazy. Like that is always like my thing. It's like, let's balance out like the shit stirring and stuff with some fun stuff and lighthearted stuff and good-hearted stuff. But I don't know if she will do that. I don't recommend just going around and calling everybody racist, just because honestly, the odds of that are pretty slim. Not everybody is a racist. Amber is saying that Young Black Economist is also smart and you can have a good conversation, which is probably smarter than me for sure. But I'm not saying we're gonna, be best buddies, but it was just interesting to get a message from her. I should go back and see if there was a response. I don't know. I haven't gone into my inbox. That's that. Saturday, by the way, I have a town meeting. Somerset's annual town meeting is Saturday at like 10 a.m. or something like that. So I've got to go to town meeting. I might like live stream from there. Who knows? Last time I had an issue with like the internet and stuff, but I've got a good second phone with a hotspot. So maybe, I'm not sure if it interests anybody, but if you want to, maybe I'll just talk you through what happens in town meeting. there's an agenda and we vote on our budget, and I've got an axe to grind about a couple of things. So I will most likely be speaking about some stuff. So there's that. Just wanted to let you know. Saturday we have town meeting in the morning, and then we're going to hang out on Saturday night. So there's that. Jess, I sent you a message on Facebook. Is that the best way? Do they have the sign secured, Tanya? Beats the fuck out of me. So I will, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. So here's the next thing. I am going to undertake a big project, and I knew I wasn't going to do it before the wedding. I also said once the wedding was over, maybe we could just enjoy life and not go crazy. Okay. But there's a big project that I've wanted to undertake this year in particular, and I am ready to start it. So we have our own old town hall. I've told you about it. It's the old town hall in Somerset where our forefathers were governing the town of Somerset. And for the most part, it has been updated with new bathrooms on the inside, but it's a open meeting hall. There's nothing to it. It's just one big room because that's how shit was in the fucking 1700s. It's a big wooden room with wooden floors and old windows. And it has a little kitchen, actually, that was upgraded, but it's a very charming building. I have a romantic relationship with it. I love it very, very, very much. I pushed very hard to get the doors open so that we could hold our Republican town committee meetings there. I like that we talk about politics and government in the building where our forefathers did business. I love it very much. It is a beautiful white building that on the outside, it looks like crap. And it's just a plain building. And then the saga about the sign where I asked if I could hand paint the sign because it needed to be updated. They wouldn't let me because of they were worried about me falling off a scaffolding and suing the town. So they had a maintenance guy paint it, and it looks like a 4-year-old painted it. And I just am very emotional about this building. It is right in the center of our town, near our new town hall. It is near our library. It is right on the main road of County Street. I just absolutely love this building, and it is neglected, and it is a gem, and it needs to be loved. It is the 250th anniversary of the United States of America. Okay. I want to decorate this building leading into the 4th of July. We have very little time to get this done. I spent some time, and I will tell you, I don't really use ChatGPT or anything like that for this kind of stuff, but I uploaded a picture of the old town hall, and I started entering what I would like it to look like and asked if it could make me a rendering of it. And after tweaking it several times, it made what I believe is the perfect picture on what our town hall should look like, old town hall should look like right now. I then took every item that was added to it, and I went and found it on Amazon and priced it out. We're talking external lighting, like lanterns that are solar powered that will get adhered to the sides of the doors. We're talking another light that goes over the sign. We're talking an actual professional sign being printed at the printer and going over the one that's there. Bunting, American flags. We need the posts that the American flags go in. 2 black urn style planters to go near the front door. What else is on there? Window boxes, the brackets to hang the window boxes, and then the flowers. I found, aside from the flowers, I found everything on Amazon. I totaled it up. It's going to cost $750-ish for all of the things. My Republican Town Committee is going to do the project. I've asked them, they want to do it together. We are going to raise money we're going to look for around, I'm going to say $1,000 to get this done. And I think, oh, and then there was other lighting to kind of like put it, there's solar lights and put them up on the building so that they kind of shine down and illuminate her. She's so pretty. I'm going to pull it up on my phone to show you what it looks like and what I want it to look like. And I'm so tired of communities where people say like, let's do this and let's do that. And nobody ever gets anything done. So I did the rendition. I found everything. I priced it out. And then now it's time to get approval to do it. We are going to have to pay for it. So this is what Town Hall looks like now. That's a picture of it. Okay. So it's right on County Street. That's what it looks like. Off to the right there, you see the sign. That window over there on the left is covered up because that's the kitchen now. But like over on this side, you see that there's some like big windows. There's a door over there. In the front of it, there's like terrible landscaping. There's nothing there. We're talking about my old town hall in Somerset and what I want to do to it. And now this is what I want to do to her for the 4th of July, 250th, right? Sorry if you can't see that. Hold on. Wait, it's a challenge. I'm challenged. Wait, it's too bright. Look at her. Look how pretty she can look. So we need bunting, we need flags, we need some flowers, we need, a wreath. Those lights, I found them on Amazon. Solar lights, the lights up top. See? Anyway, this is my project. And I want to get this done in 3 weeks so that she's ready to go into the 4th of July. And then she looks like that for 4th of July for the rest of the summer. And I have the people to do it. And we're going to be raising money for it. So I'm going to put up my Venmo today. If you want to contribute anything to it, we would appreciate it. If you Venmo anything to participate, especially if you're from Somerset and you want to add, just put Town Hall in your comments so I know that's what it's for. But we're going to be asking other people in town to contribute, and we're going to buy it all and we're going to get it done. We can start probably next week. Now, the only thing that would be a problem is if the town tells us we can't do this, and then we riot because we want to contribute. We want to make this look pretty. We want it to be done on volunteer time. We want it to be, no cost to the town, and they should not give us a hard time about this. But look how beautiful it looks. I can't stop staring at this. And it can look just like that. I know it will. So that's my project. I want it to be done, and we will get it done. Put you back in the cradle. I just think about the morale in the community for not only Somerset, but even for like the 4th of July and the 250th. Like, I want everybody in town to talk about it. I want everybody to be like, look how gorgeous that looks. Wow, look at Town Hall. There is, so there are 2 flower beds in the front of the Town Hall. That was something I had to tweak in that image, but yes, so there are 2 flower beds. They're overgrown with weeds, but there are 2 flower beds there on either side. Do you want to go by it and I can show you? Let's go by Old Town Hall. I talked to the town administrator about the building getting painted or power washed. I was told it was happening and it never happened. Shocker. If you know me, that may be part of the things I mentioned, at town meeting. I don't know. I'm just annoyed with it all. Nothing fucking gets done. Nothing. Nothing extra. Nothing special. Nothing, nothing. It's fucking 250th. I know we're having some sort of like but show me something. So let our RTC take on this project. It's not a lot of money. What's $1,000 to like decorate Old Town Hall? It's well, I say it's not a lot. We need money. So, we have a little bit of money in our coffer, but it's not a lot. And I just think it would be like a good thing to do for our town. What's up, Brian? That's our SA Somerset Access Television camera guy. His name is Brian. He went to school with my husband. Free iced tea at Town Hall all summer. Like prior to Christmas, I had said, I wanted Town Hall to be open. I've learned that when you're at other communities, especially ones that are like kind of destination spots, there is a group of people who care about like how things look and understand like certain things add to like morale and excitement and whatever. And there's just nobody in our community here. Unfortunately, it's just the reality that nobody actually feels that way. And if they do, they don't have time or aren't involved and they can't do it. I think I've always had the opinion that like somebody else will do it or it will be done by someone. The time's up. Like nobody has done it. So is anybody going to really have a hard time if Jessica and the Somerset Republican Town Committee comes in here and starts cleaning up the weeds? They shouldn't. Nobody should give us a hard time about it. But I think we all think like somebody else will do it. And I'm just getting kind of to the point where like nobody's coming to fix anything. Nobody's going to get this fucking sign done. Right? This town doesn't have a fucking sign for 3 years. Nobody's coming to do it. So let's go do it. Let's get on the phone. Thoughts and prayers for every project out there that I have fucking been pissed off about now that the wedding is over and I can spend my time on the fucking phone. Today, I have a plumber coming at 12 o'clock. To look at my shower upstairs. There's a guy in Somerset that I found through a local Facebook group. Whenever I have like large items that I need to get rid of, which is another problem I have with like society, is like you just can't get rid of something anymore. It's a big process. You got to go get a permit. You got to put a sticker on it. It costs money, whatever. I found a guy who takes junk and he has a truck and it's $100 to fill the truck. Wonderful. So I have some big items that need to go. One is a old sand filter from my pool. We upgraded last year and couldn't really get rid of the old sand filter, so we've kind of had it hidden off to the side of the pool. I want it out of there, but what do I do with that? So I got to get rid of it. I have 2 old chairs that are my front porch that kind of need to go, and just some bulky items. That guy's coming by this afternoon, and I need him to get rid of those things. So I have some house stuff that I've obviously been putting off for a while now that we are a little less distracted by wedding, and I mean that in the best possible way. So we have these flower beds here that are just absolutely disgusting and neglected. So we're going to take all that out and we're going to plant flowers. And then here we have the door. We should put 2 urns, black urns right here with flowers. I think we need new numbers here. And then we have another one of these that is just overgrown and just needs to be loved. On the side of the building, we won't be able to do that one, but we have 2 windows here that will get window boxes and down lighting. Over here, 1 window box and down lighting. An American flag here. Bunting here. Maybe even bunting there and there. There's the sign. That obviously is an absolute disaster. Should have never, ever had. I can't even believe it. But we can measure this and get a new one printed. And it'll be gold and black. It'll say Somerset Old Town Hall, right? It'll be beautiful. And then over here, we have 1, 2, 3 windows. So we would need 3 window boxes. Above the door, we would need down lighting and bunting. And that's it. And then the flowers will be here and there. And she's charming and beautiful. Right? Hi. All right, fun fact, while I was here and I was going over, sorry to leave you. While I was going over that, the maintenance guy for the town came up and he was like, "What's the matter? You don't like my hand painted sign?" And I was like, "No, I don't." And he's so nice. And he's like, "Hey, man," he's like, "I'm not an artist." He's like, "But I really tried to make it look good." He's like, "But, you know, it's a metal sign and the S." And I said, "Dude, you know it doesn't look good." And he's like, "Oh, I heard you were pissed about it." He's like, "I just wanted to let you know I tried." And I was like, "It's nothing against you. It should have never been done that way. I offered for the sign to come down so I could paint it, but I can't believe he showed he showed up while I was there. He saw me and he's like, "Oh, I saw you and you're taking pictures." And he's like, "I know you're pissed about that sign." I was like, "I am 100% pissed about the sign. Yes. Can we please fix it?" So anyway, that was very funny. So I was just telling him what we are looking to do or trying to do. And he's like, "The building just needs so much love and nobody does anything with it. And there's no money and no time." And I was like, "Well, I'm going to get the money and I have the time. I have the people. So let's make her look beautiful." And he's like, "She's a beautiful building. She's just old and she needs some help." I said, "Well, the inside is beautiful. So now it's time to like make the outside look great, even if it's just for the holiday to make it look beautiful." But I don't know, man. It's 250. You know what I mean? Like Old Town Hall doesn't take much. What's $1,000 to try to get her to look absolutely beautiful? Anyway. It is such a charming building. I love her. She's so beautiful. She's going to look even better. And the inside is beautiful. So that's that. All right, we are going to be home. We are home. Bunny After Dark is tonight. I don't know. I have to figure out what it is or what I'm going to do. I've been so distracted with all of the things. I haven't thought about it. I want to mention something else that I think is worthy of a mention. I spoke with Jake yesterday. He called me and we were talking about a couple of things. And oh no, my American flag fell down. Oh, and Meowser's not here. So let me just mention this. I say it sometimes, and there's some stuff that goes on behind the scenes, but I really am very conscientious of my like my business and what I do, and I really try to evolve. And one of the things that I've been thinking about is, well, I used to think about before, but I always felt the timing wasn't right in the beginning, was to have like a producer on my show. And I don't think Jake is vying to be the producer on the show, but there are certain things that I know can elevate the morning show in particular that I want to do. And I just want to share that my goal here is to secure this additional like revenue stream of like live ad reads. And the way that those things are mapped out, and maybe not even with just this one company, but with other companies or whatever, who knows what happens, is to finance a producer through that, and take the show in a little bit of a different direction. As much as I know that everybody really loves the morning, you know, flow of consciousness, and they love the field trips and all of those things, it isn't always the best for me that way, because, you know, listening back, I feel sometimes it's a little chaotic. I really do want the structure of a morning show that's like a radio show, 3 hours. I want like a bumper with an ad. Like that's just where I grew up in the radio, and that's what I want. And I want to kind of get the morning show to look a little bit more like that. Bunny After Dark would never look like that, but that's what I'm looking for the morning show. Hold on a second. I'm going to leave you here while I go pee. Hi, Quincy. Quincy. All right. Hello. Sorry. Let's get the dogs outside. You want to go outside? Hi, Regan. Oh, you're good handsome boy. I knew my husband did not secure this flag exactly as I needed to. So I'm going to have to wait for my son to come down and fix it. Go ahead, guys. It's beautiful outside. Enjoy. That's the groomer. All right. All right. So hold on. Let me grab this. So one of the things that, I really appreciated with Jake is, and I think he gets kind of like a bad rap because online, I don't know, what you see is, I don't know. I don't even know if that's the best way to say it, but, nope, no. See, this is why I can't. No, not Jake as a producer. That's not what we're doing. He was just kind of talking to me about, like, he was asking me questions like, what do you want and see for your show? And, like, this actually was a really healthy conversation for me to have, because I think, there's like the constant need to like one up and better myself. As much as I say, like, no, that doesn't match there. As much as I say, that's not true. As much as metrics continue to go up, I continue to get subscribers, everything stays consistent. We're not moving in the opposite direction. I still feel like a little bit of a nudge to elevate a little bit. And I really do envision a morning show that is like more of a radio style show. Driving around in my car isn't always fun for me. And it also doesn't translate well sometimes to good content. The long pauses, I know you've all grown accustomed to that, but don't you think you would want it to be a little bit more listenable? I think everybody at some point has felt like this is dragging on or whatever, you know what I mean? So I think it needs a little bit more structure. And I think if it has a little bit more structure, it would be appealing to a different facet of an audience that isn't listening yet. I think there are people that would probably listen, but they jump in and they're like, what's going on here? If there's an expectation of times and quote unquote commercials, which eventually there will be, like we are going to have like a live read at some point. I think it needs to have a little bit more. For me, it feels better for me to do that. We also must look at the future and what this show will look like next fall, because Georgia will be driving herself to school. Maybe not September, but probably by October. And what are we going to be doing in the morning? Just getting in our car and driving around town. I mean, it's not really, I think, what we want to do. There's also parts of this that I can't do, which is like share screens, show pictures, share content. And I can't do that because, you know what I mean? Like I'm driving in my car. I can't even read comments because I'm driving in my car. Now we're getting close to the end of the school year and there will be no driving in the morning. Now, Georgia's going to be doing like her morning stuff at school. So yes, we will have a little bit there, but I'm going to tell you what, it takes her about 2 hours to do everything she needs to do at school. If every other day during the week in the summer, I'm driving her to school and driving around in my car in the summer, in the air conditioning for 2 hours, it's not going to work. I'm not going to be happy with it. I think we can still do a stream of consciousness, so to speak, but have it structured where it's in my office and there's a show vibe to it. I think your super chats would increase in the morning if you're able to acknowledge them. I've recognized 100%. Nobody's going to send a super chat if I can't read it. That's the point of a super chat, that I acknowledge it, or maybe I add to it, or it provokes a conversation. And you and I all know we don't see those anymore because I can't fucking see them on my screen. So nobody's going to give them. And, you know, we talk money on the show because I think it's the right thing to do and transparency is important. May has been a terrible month. You know, I contemplated putting my Venmo up and just be like, Venmo me if you support me, because it's not a great month with YouTube numbers. But of course I put it up because I would like my town hall to look a certain way. But, you know, we don't get the super chats we used to get because I'm on my phone and I don't look. So, and I'm not saying I want people to pay. I'm just saying like people would, and people want to add to the conversation and want to do that. Super chats are a thing for all the shows, just not mine anymore because I don't see them. So I'm not saying that's a reason, but thank you for pointing it out. Isle of Shoals is saying that gas is too expensive. There's that as well. Are you thinking about doing a studio space again since all of that died down? Yes, I actually am. But that depends on a bunch of other factors. After I lost my studio space the first time, I had multiple people offer me studio space free of charge. I just was not emotionally prepared to go to another space where I could potentially lose it again. And so I by default said no. I turned away offers. I said thanks, but no thanks. Sometimes I think maybe I should have fucking just dug my boots in and just went right to a new studio. I don't know. Can I take this to a different level where we actually have a studio space? We have a producer, and it looks a little bit different. I think we are very close to that, but I always want things to be almost late to the game. I think about this when I owned Swedes Cafe with Ron, and we had pressure all the time to hire a delivery person, right? And everybody wanted delivery. And it was like, oh, if you don't deliver, we're not going to order, right? And Ron gave me like full decision making on it. And I said, I want 6 months of sending out. I used to every morning fax out with a fax machine. I would fax out my daily special to all the businesses and offices. I think we sent out 100 fax every morning, and I would send out all my specials for the day and no delivery. And people would see what we were offering, and the menu was so great that people would be like, fine, fuck it, we're sending somebody from our office to do it. I got the lunch rush to be so crazy that it was like long overdue when we got a delivery person, and it went crazy. We ultimately hired 2 delivery people because it went nuts. I want to get it to the point where we're like that far, bursting at the seams, and then we do it. Ben Rosa, gotta find someone Kayla Churchill can't blackmail. I have that. I have a person that offered me space for free. That would have been secure. I also could put a lease agreement in. So if the lease is $1 a month, but the lease can't be broken for a year or something like that, I could have done that. I never thought I would have needed something like that before. And so anyway, I'm thinking about it. I am thinking about it. I think that we need a studio space where we can have in-person guests. And I don't know. I think it needs to be elevated. So we're going to see. We're going to see what it looks like with the brand deals that are out there right now. We're still working on those. Anne is saying, I don't get your attraction to studio space. You are almost an empty nester. I would keep the home studio. You running errands will not change whether you have a studio space or a home office space. Yeah, I know. I just want to say that I'm thinking about it. I'm not sure. I still have like major trauma associated with studio space. I can tell you I probably wouldn't make it look the same way. I wouldn't get emotionally invested in it. I had a really hard time leaving it. I'm not sure, but at a minimum, we're looking at going to me working from a studio instead of driving in the mornings, just because it's just all over the place. You know what I mean? We could always do field trips and stuff, but yes, this is for the 24 on 24 time slot. Got to tell the deal people about the weirdos and what's going to happen, prep them for the BS. Yes. Correct. I do. Yeah, I think we might just, before we do studio, it would be transitioning the 24 and 24 to an actual studio show with a producer at home, and not, just not driving around in the car. I don't think it's sustainable. And I feel like sometimes it drags on too long. And if I go back and listen, it's like, well, I'm all over the place. I need to have a little bit more structure. There is definitely also like a great part about having a home studio where you can impulsively go live, which I've done in the past. Mike Urban talked about having that, like, room right in your house where if you feel compelled, you can go in and you can do something. But anyway, as far as the morning show was going, so we're going on 2 hours right now. We should have a 3-hour show. It should have some structure. And it just doesn't. It's just, yeah, like I would show my face more. I would like to share screens. It's just, I think we're missing something here in the mornings. You know what I mean? So anyway, I just wanted to let you know I was talking to Jake about it, and it was kind of helping me work through that. And he was asking really great questions, what I wanted, what I thought, what I should have. And it was like a good conversation that kind of got me motivated to like take a look at this a little bit more again now, so I was saying, May wasn't a great month. I fell off in May towards the end because I was very distracted. I wasn't putting in the work that I put in April because I was planning a wedding. So it just also happens to work out that June is like a low month for like expenses. There's not a lot going on. So do you know why you're feeling like you need a studio? So, I think in the beginning, being at home and having family around felt good, but I sometimes feel like it's too much. I think like I don't get, I don't know. I would still keep the homes. Yes, we had prom dress shopping, wedding shopping. Yes. Convert a room in the house to a full-blown studio. So that is actually a crazy notion that I cannot do. I feel weird that I even have a studio in my house now, and it's like half a bedroom, half a studio. It feels weird to me. I don't know why. I just feel like it's gross. I don't know why. Well, we don't have to spend the money on the studio if we did it. We have everything from the studio. It's all in this house, stuffed in house. It's like everywhere. The chairs, the tables, the lights, everything, the decorations, the rugs, all of it is still here. I dismantled that studio and brought everything here. So the studio is far away. That's a fall move if we do it. For the summer though, I just want everybody to be a little prepared that we may transition 24 and 24 to a at-home studio production, instead of driving around in the car, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Okay. We'll see. Let's get through Old Town Hall project first. Town Hall meeting first. And no, we don't have a studio shed space, unfortunately. No.
The maintenance guy just sent me, it is 95 inches long and 33 and a half inches wide. That's the sign. Perfect. What is this? LTL jumped into the comment section. Hold on. It says people who are LTL posted this. People who are unhappy with how their lives turned out often project that anger onto people they envy. From the first day Jess walked into my studio, it felt obvious to me that she was jealous of what I had built for myself. And from that moment, she wanted to set. First of all, from the first day I only went into the studio once, and it was for the Nathan Reed video. And I think it is very well documented on camera that there was no jealousy. I was mortified. But let's keep reading. Is that she wanted to sabotage it. It didn't work. Some people never figure out how to get out of their own way. So instead of taking accountability, they project, blame others, and try to justify their own failures through disparaging others. What a sad way to live. Okay, hold on a second, sir. Number one, the first day I walked into the studio, it wasn't obvious that I was jealous. It was obvious that I was impressed. So Brian is trying to change exactly what happened. I believe there were other people there, including Erin and Nathan and other people. I was impressed with what Brian had. It was overwhelming what he had done in that space. For example, Brian pointed out that the table that he had was a custom-built $4,000 table. There was no jealousy or envy. I was impressed that it was all set up. When you look at the screen and you see what Brian puts on every day, there was a lot more to it behind the scenes. That, he had iPads set up for every guest. He had lighting in areas that were off the area. It wasn't jealousy. It was impressive. Like, wow, you've done a lot. You've spent a lot of money, according to you. And there was no need for me to sabotage it. So do I sabotage Aiden? Am I jealous of Aiden? Do I sabotage Jimmy? Am I jealous of Jimmy? Or is it that I exist in a space with people who I think are peers and we elevate each other? We try to make each other better. We try to get more for each other. I raise money for Aiden. I go on Jimmy's show. We do skits together. Like that's peer work and partnership and elevating the other person. There's no jealousy. There's no dragging the other person down. It's just that I didn't like you, Brian. Some people never figure out how to get out of their own way. What do you mean? What does that mean, get out of my own way? And what do you mean getting out of my own way means like I'm doing something wrong? That's the opposite of that. I'm not doing anything wrong. Sorry. My daughter is sending me pictures from Italy. I don't know where this comment is from, actually. Someone just screenshotted it and sent it to me. Hold on, let me look at it a little bit. It's on X. They project, blame others, and try to justify their own failures through I don't know. I don't have any failures here with all of this. Sorry. What is this? Jeff likely had a vasovagal psychope episode. He should call his MD today to make an appointment and get checked out. Having a sleep study for sleep apnea. Sending love. There are other causes for this that should be evaluated. As a nurse, I recommend Jeff asked to have his annual exam sooner than July. Thank you, Mermaid Mary. So everybody listens. You know that, and I know that. All right, we just hit the 2-hour mark. We have Bunny After Dark tonight. Let's do it. I hate to say it, but let's do it at 8 p.m. because I've got a lot going on today. And we will try to, I don't know what we're going to do tonight. I don't know, but we'll figure it out. Okay. Somebody sent me a t-shirt and it says thrift store whore on it. Please identify yourself. Please identify yourself. Let's see if we can get some wedding pics we can talk about and share tonight. I have a guest that I am trying to lock in. She's a little apprehensive about doing it video. So we're gonna message her. We have the plumber coming today at 12. So that's it. I'm not overwhelmed. I'm just clearing up some things. I think the issue here is, look, so here's the wedding, right? The wedding is done. Over, right? Wedding's done. Why can't I just live in peace? Why do I have to take on another project? Why am I trying to do this town hall thing? Why can't I just fucking relax? Why am I trying to figure out a studio space? Why can't I just take the month of June for peace? It's because I have this like thing where I have to be doing something. I have to have something to be working for. I need a project. Like, why can't I just have the month of June to do nothing? And I think, okay, well, nobody else is going to do the town hall thing. If I don't do it, nobody else will do it. So we got to do it. Hi, Quincy. Quincy, did you let yourself in? If my opinion matters, I can't miss the show because of the chaos. I love that the show is unpredictable. Hi, Ben Rosa. I would love approachable t-shirt. Oh, I've got to get on the merch website today. I have to. I know that there's like orders that I just do not know what was going on with them. I will do that when the plumber is here. And of course the plumber is coming, so I'm going to go clean my bathroom so that it looks spotless when he comes in and destroys it. Hi, Reagan. All right, so that's it. I'm also going to call Jeffrey and see how he's feeling. We should be doing nothing today. We should be doing absolutely nothing. Oh, I decorated. Did you see I did my flowers? Is he single? So here we go. J7's in the chat perpetually asking if people are single. I tried to set you up with someone. It didn't work. No more for me. I failed. I listen in the car and on my walks, never really watch. Thanks for all you do for us, Jess. I do nothing, Cajun Butterfly. Nothing. I overshare. That is all. Okay. That's it. Let's have a great day. I'll see you later on today for Bunny After Dark at 8 p.m. Let's do Comfy Cozy Bunny After Dark edition. Let's do Comfy Cozy. Want to do jammies and hair up in messy buns and hot cocos? Can we do that? Can we do a Comfy Cozy Bunny After Dark edition? Would that work? Well, we could do Comfy Cozy Bunny After Dark edition, but we have to rebrand ourselves because we are just accepting our evil ways and we are not even going to try to be nice anymore. If we set the expectation that we are dragons and not bunnies, then everybody will be like, oh, you're a hypocrite. You're claimed to be nice and you're really a bad person. No, we fully have embraced our villain era. And do we do Disney villains? Do we do Disney princesses and Disney villains? Who in this whole arena is a Disney princess and who is a Disney villain? It is obvious that Emily C will be Snow White. obviously, because she has all of her ocean animals, and Snow White had animals, and she is sweet, and so Emily C is Snow White. Who would I be? It would have to be the dragon from Shrek, because she was mean and then she was sweet and she had babies with Donkey, and Jeff could be Donkey. That doesn't work. I don't know if that's what it Cruella. Fuck you, Coach K Swizzle. Fuck you. Jumps in the chat just to fucking throw that out there. You've been listening the whole time. Get over to town hall. We got work to do. What is Oh, Arkansas Bestie is here. I need you to be around every day so I can see that other people have crazy lives. It makes me feel complete. No, it makes you feel better that you're not that crazy. Arkansas Bestie now texts me accidentally. I was the recipient of a text that meant to go to another Jessica in her phone, and I got a view of her dog and her pool. You need to allow yourself time to recharge and reset. Nah, we're good, Heidi. Let's just go. Going straight into it. Although I am feeling the need to like head to the beach for a drive. That would be fun. Can we do Bunny After Dark from the beach? That would be fun. I need my pool deck up and running because that's like really where we want to be by default. I worked very hard yesterday on my front deck, my front porch. So we got our flowers done, flag done. We got half the porch completely cleaned, swept. We washed the windows. We washed the door. We washed the lights. Now we have the other main part of it. I'm in a little bit of a problem here. I bought like this twin bed, like 70s bed that has a wicker base. And I put a twin mattress on it with like a blanket, and it was meant for me, but the dogs have now taken it over and I hate it. It's got to go, right? It's got to go. Jeff is mad because the dogs like it and it allows them to see over the whole neighborhood. And I love my dogs, but also like not that much. So I need to get rid of that. I am looking for like a conversation set for the front porch. I've been on Marketplace and honestly, like there's just, I can't find anything. I'm not buying a new one. So we may just leave it empty until we find something that comes in front of me and it's like the right time. You know what I mean? But we're getting the front porch back to where it usually is. But again, we're technically a month behind. So you wonder where my anxiety and project, motivation is coming from. We're already here by Memorial Day. We're a whole month behind. We have to fix it. Hold on. It's not the time of year to buy patio furniture. Only on Marketplace it is because other people are buying it and they are getting rid of their old ones. That's really bunny goblins. Maybe bunny goblins. Oh, those are kind of cute. Maybe bunny goblins. I feel like it's got to be a little bit evil. Arkansas Bestie, I'm so tired. I can't see my phone. It was an accident. You better hope it was like that kind of an accident. What if you sent me something terrible? If you can't find it, use more power to you. I'm all for. Why? It's the mailman. It's Abby. A mailman. My father-in-law had hip replacement surgery, had a torn tendon, and I haven't slept in my bed in 5 days. Oh no. I have had really just like 2 nights of enjoyable sleep. Tuesday night and Wednesday night Tuesday night was my good sleep. Last night was not a good sleep because of Jeffy. Bunny bitches. I like the gremlins. Please, dogs. Quincy, drive to get coffee and transition to the home office. That might be the way to go, C-Dub. That might be the way to go. What are we doing? All right, I have to go clean my bathroom. I don't know why I'm going to clean it. It's already clean. but I want it to be cleaner for when the guy gets here. So we get a plumber coming. We got to deal with that. How do you say that? Bugs and bunnies? What's brusque bunnies? How do you say that? Be glad your name isn't Pete. Pete is Arkansas Bessie's husband. All right, let's reconvene later tonight. Maybe rebrand ourselves. We might have a guest. I don't know. As soon as I'm done with you, I'm going to message them. Hold on. Listening to what Jeff went through, check his tongue, the sides, as well as to see if he did bite it. I've had seizures for 30 years. Look up grand mal seizures, MRI, EEG is most likely to detect that. I don't know if you remember if his hands were sweaty or if he wet himself. Neither one of those things happened. When having grand mal seizures, you sweat, and times people can wet themselves. Didn't want to ask all this in the chat, although I read it. No, none of that. He didn't do, oh, brusque, thank you. Brusque, oh, brusque, I kind of like that. Brusque bunnies, what does that mean? No, he was not sweaty. He wasn't clammy. His hands were fine because I was grabbing them. He didn't wet himself. If he did, I would not share that, but what does brusque mean? B-R-U. Brusque definition. Being brusque means being so quick, brief, and blunt in speech or manner that it comes across as unfriendly, rude, or impatient. Brusque bunnies. Huh. We will rename ourselves this evening. Maybe we will use the dry erase board. All right, bunnies, for now. Thanks for joining me on this 24 and 24. Thanks for all the great feedback. Thanks for letting me talk. Let's just, before we do that, let's just go see what's going on. What's the issue? What's causing concern? How many times do I have to say this? This is a traveling dog groomer. I understand you don't go in that, but there is a dog across the street who does it. They're not here to hurt you. Oh, Quincy. Okay. All right, guys. I'll see you tonight for Bunny, 8 o'clock. Bye.
It's all your favorite Jess Machado songs on one CD. Wake up in the morning feeling like P. Diddy. Grab my glasses, I'm out the door. I'm gonna hit this city. Before I leave, brush my teeth, say goodbye to Jack. When I leave for Bunny After Dark, I'm not coming back. It's all the hits you've always loved in one place. Just so everyone knows, it's alright because I got Jeff his new guitar. And that's okay, cause my family is the best thing for me. Whether you're singing in the car by yourself or hanging out with your besties, there's a song for everybody. How much is that coffee at Society? Last week it was 50 cents less. How much is that coffee at Society? I don't care if this causes a mess. Recruiting seagulls, dishing about politics, or just straight up gossiping, this is the CD for you. One low price of $19.99. The chat I can't see. I'm driving and the sun's in my eyes. I love 24 on 24. I said I'm getting all the views. Sorry, Brian and Crawford, I told you before. Don't fuck with me, I'm a forever whore. Don't fuck with this forever whore. All songs, all decades, all moods, all Jess. I got a new life, you'd hardly recognize me. I'm so glad that Kayla Churchill and Jen Altman are not in my life. I don't care about all of my stupid haters. That is right. Eat my asshole. I saw the sign. It opened up my eyes. I saw the sign. Get out of bed and call today.